rattled all my tools off the truck bed, but it works. So next step, I'm gonna back it up. We're gonna fill it up with water, run water through, see if we find any leaks. Lots of times with brass parts, things like that, even though I put new tape on, what's up, everybody? Chris Shipley, Shipley Pest Solutions. Shop day today. I got an old retro shirt. I missed these, and I started to tear. Gonna be working on my spray system. So over the course of the past week or so, my regulator's right here. I've lost about 25 PSI or so, and so that's telling me that something's dying. It's most likely the pump, the piston drive pump, which I use the Maruyama's. I use these, the MSD41 specifically, and then the engine. So this is a 224cc from Harbor Freight. 212 is all they had in stock. 212, 224 doesn't matter. That between 4 and 6 horse engine. Yeah. So I'm gonna take some time to go ahead and replace this, because once they start to lose pressure like this, eventually they will just blow up. Sometimes the piston will literally just the seal will go bad. The piston, you'll throw a piston down here. And so it's just time to do it. I've got some time today, so gonna go through, gonna change out again. Normally these will last a little over a season. So I can normally get probably 9 months, maybe 12 months out of operation. Now, our operation here is gonna be basically April through October. So you're looking at 7-8 months. And again, these are running, when we're treating a house, these are running for 20-30 minutes at a time, 15-20-30 minutes. So if you're doing 10, 15, 18, 20 stops a day, those hours really add up. Kind of the state of where things are, these engines cost about $175 from Harbor Freight. The pumps are the expensive thing. The pumps are about $500, $550, depending on where you get them. And so all in all, I'm into it for $700-ish. So it's not too bad, but there's not much money in taking and going and getting these engines repaired at $175 when most bench fees are $100 now. And essentially they're just throwaways, which kind of sucks. But so yeah, gonna go through, take the time. It's giving me the warning signs. Let's get it replaced. So we have our piece of treated wood here. So we use between 1/2 and 3/4 inch treated wood. Kind of just depends on where prices are at or what we feel like. But like an 8-foot sheet is $45 anymore. We'll cut a service hole under here because you've got 4 bolts that mount it. And so you can mount it to the actual metal skid. And so typically we'll pull these out. We've got a hole cut in the treated wood, because the treated wood on these will last, 6, 7, 8 years. It'll last a long time. This is actually the original piece on this, and this is my 8th year. So yeah, this has lasted 8 years already. So as long as you've got drain holes in your truck beds that water won't sit and just eat on this wood, you're fine. And then of course the last few years my vehicles have been inside throughout the winter, so and I take the skid sprayers out at the end of the season anyways, so they don't get snow, they don't get water damage, any of that in the winter. So I'll slide it back. I'll have to unbolt, so there'll be 4 bolts at the bottom that bolt the actual engine to the frame of the metal. The piston drive pump is then just has the coupler, has the single coupler that sits, and that actually is how it's connected. Obviously we got to disconnect our hoses. Overall probably take a couple hours, hopefully like an hour and a half. I'm pretty good at it, but things typically don't go easy. So I'm just gonna say it's gonna take 3 hours. So when it takes like an hour 15, yeehaw. Wear my headlamp here to help give me some light. Dealing with that. Get everything out of the way. there is a hole in this one. I thought there was, I wasn't sure. So as you can see, that's what I was talking about. So I'll give you some light. So we're gonna have the 4 bolts there. Unbolt those, which are right here. So those are right there, and then 2 in the back. Back in those. Take those off, and then this whole assembly then will be loose. And obviously I'll have to disconnect my hoses, which are all brand new for this season. Here's the pump. These pumps I like. You know, your oil level, you want to sit right at that red dot. They have a nice service, you know, way to service them there. I just think it's getting old. And so, like I said, I've been losing pressure, you know, on my regulator gauge. It's been dropping. And so it's just, when it tells you that, it's time to do it. So. That's the first one. And I've got a bench right here, so if this does slide, but it's pretty stable. It's not going anywhere, so. That should be the first one. All right. Bolt number 1. Bolt number 2. As I've gotten older, I've learned to just buy the nicer tools, because the extra 5-10 minutes it might save you, like having a ratcheting wrench like that. It's well worth it. All right, now that I have the first 2 bolts off up front here, I need to get the back 2 off, and they're in the back. But the easiest way to get to them is go ahead and take these hoses. So I'm gonna go ahead and detach these hoses, move them out of the way so that I can get wrenches and everything in there. This is always the fun part, even though they haven't been on there that long. There we go. All right, now I've got all the hoses removed and then out of the way here. And so now I can get the 2 back bolts. The hoses are disconnected. I will have to take some of these parts, such as the regulator. So basically I'll have to take this off, then I'll have to take the regulator with the gauge off of this as well, and then put on the new, but then the rest of this will literally just lift off. There we go, bolt 3. Bolt 3, washer, lock nut. All right, last bolt, bolt 4.
I think it's already kind of loose.
All right. Bolt 4. Now, whole thing is loose. Pull the whole thing off. So, easy peasy, right? All right, so now that this is loose, like I said, these are basically just throwaways now outside of the pump. So I do save the pumps. I take them back. I just kind of stash them, and then end of the year, or I know some people that like to rebuild them. So, but I will save like gas caps, other things I can save to cannibalize off of these are like the pull cords, the pull cord assemblies and everything are nice to save as well. All right, so here's the laid out skid with the drill holes. Everything's pretty standard, so we don't have to have new drill holes. I will take some handy dandy. Everybody knows what brake clean's good for. Here's how we actually put pool noodles. So I cut and put pool noodles because these rub, and the vibration from that engine, you'll actually rub holes in your hoses. You can see already there where it's kind of rubbed a little indent, but this protects your hoses actually to not get that extra wear there. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that filter off, clean that filter, make sure that's crystal clear, clean the surface of this, pull the parts off of the other pump, then start to put, bolt the engine first, then put the pump on. Pull the filter off. I have my shut off on. There'll probably still be a little bit of leakage, so obviously keep some paper towels around. Get this out and dispose of it. Filter. So it does its job, catches grass, things like that when you're refilling with a hose or filling up with a hose. Catches all that stuff. All right, clean the filter out. Nice and good. I'll wipe this out, clean this out real nice. Overall, there wasn't much. I apologize, I have the sniffles, the cottonwood's flying. And my goodness. So clean all that up real good. This is all just really good maintenance to do while everything's open anyways. That does not have to be over there super strong. I just kind of snug it up just a little bit. All right, now time for the brand new engine. Again, you can use a 212 or a 224. Anything from 4 to 6 horse is going to be sufficient for what I'm trying to use, what I'm going to do. So, 212 Predator. Just get it out of here. There we go. Good, we're done with that. Now, one of the things, so this is where the coupler will connect to the piston drive pump. One of the things I always have to do right away is I have to rotate this pull cord assembly. I have to rotate it towards me because it's going to sit like this. Well, the pull cord assembly is back here. So you literally have to stand back here and pull up. So I just literally, I take the 3 bolts off here and I just rotate it back so you pull it towards you, then pull it towards the end. But yeah, other than that, I'm going to do that right now. Go ahead and rotate that while it's out, and then get ready to get it mounted to the skid, and then we're ready to get the pump, put the pump on. All right, went ahead and grabbed ratchet. Go ahead and rotate these. Like I said, while it's out, it's a lot easier to do this. I think a lot of these are meant to be go-kart engines, so they're meant to be pulled towards the actual cab because the exhaust is facing out, so the exhaust would face away. If you're sitting in a go-kart, then the exhaust is behind you. So I think that's why they're like that. So, but it's literally, you just got to rotate the 3 bolts, and then it's fine. go ahead and use the nut driver to help. There's only 3 thread patterns on this, so you gotta, not all the holes are pre-drilled. There's only 3 thread patterns, so gonna make sure. Good to go. All right, get ready to line this up here. These sides actually have a bigger slot in them than this side, so you're kind of just gonna, wow. Might have to do the old shimmy a little bit to get them in, but all right, all 4 in. Now I gotta tighten. You just need a 3rd arm, that's all. Never really been an easy way to do this, but once you get them started, then you're good. Assuming one isn't cross-threaded. There we go. There's that. All right, let's get the other back one. All right, I have all the bolts, the washers, the nuts in. Now it's just time to crank it down. And you can crank this down as much as possible because the pump sits on the drive shaft. So the pump is not physically attached to this at all. So I go ahead and I crank this down as much as possible because you shouldn't have to move it at all. All right, front 2 are done. Number 3. Let's see if that holds. Number 4. I'm gonna check. That's pretty good. Okay. Taking regulator gauge and a couple other of the couplers off of the other pump that I should need. Now it's time to take the pump out. So this is the mounting bracket you will mount over the shaft, and then you will physically mount it to the engine like so. These are the bolts. Make that happen. See what all we need. Here it is. The Maruyama MSD41. So piston drive, so you'll see that little, there we go. That will fit that groove. You will line that up, obviously, with the engine, like so. And then I will end up putting then the other parts back on here like I had before. And then this will end up getting rotated that way. And so some of this I will go ahead and do before I actually put it on here, because it's just easier to maneuver some of these parts, like taking this part off right away. I don't need this. And then sort of retrofitting it to what I need. Now I'll turn this. This will actually turn, but, and then this goes on here. All right, now we've got the mounting plate. It's got 8 drill holes. These 4 mount to the actual engine, and then the pump mounts to these outer 4. So it will just kind of sits on there when you get it lined up right. Shorter ones go there, longer ones go on the outside. All right, now we are ready to actually line this up. And as you can see, little notch right there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna line that up with the groove up top there. But what I like to do is put just a little bit of anti-seize on there. That way, if I have to take this off at all, I would like to think maybe I've got a chance. So I will put a little bit, particularly around that, in the hopes that it won't completely seize to it. But honestly, for the most part, they don't ever make it that far. So there we go, like so. And you gotta line up actual bolts to the mounting plate. And obviously I will go in and I will tighten all these up. Yeah, it's not, overall, not too hard there, so we'll go through with the the ratchet, obviously, and start. Oh, all right. Take the ratchet. Go ahead and start cranking them down. Take that filter off. So you can really crank on this sucker. All right, now we get to check and see if everything actually works. Reattach everything here. Hey, actually, is this one underneath? I wonder if that one goes down a little bit. Angle that one down a little bit. All right, so it's back together. So now I just need to add oil, which, take this cap off, and then the oil cap of the engine. They both have convenient stickers or tags on them that say, there's no oil. So obviously, don't forget to put oil in them. Then I'll put a little gas in this, give a little start. You know, it's pulling, the pump is moving. So I think it's lined. So let's get some oil, some gas. We'll see. All right, so we've got oil in it. Hand tighten that down. As you can see, you want it to be right even with that red dot there. So let me clean up a little bit. Spill a little oil. Let me clean up a little bit. We'll see if this fires up. Gotta love the Obama gas cans. Safety first, so we don't spill it in the environment, right? As we end up spilling more, trying to get it all. We'll just put like an eighth of a tank, quarter of a tank in here. Not trying to be heroes yet. Yet. Start, choke, on. Rattled all my tools off the truck bed, but it works. So next step, I'm gonna back it up. We're gonna fill it up with water, run water through, see if we find any leaks. Lots of times with brass parts, things like that, even though I put new tape on, you'll find some leaks. Some of these are original brass parts that were on some of the older motors or older pumps, and so then I'll have to go through and most of these brass fittings, they can just be found. They're typical garden hose fittings, so you can find them at Lowe's, you know, Menards, wherever. And so I've got extras of them. You know, I'm used to kind of going in and finding those. But yeah, a lot of these brass parts can just be replaced there for $4 or $5. So let's get some water in it, see if it leaks. Fill some water up where we sprayed this truck bed liner. We tried to get that on there to help against the algae buildup. But yep, new pump, new engine. So I'll throw about 10 gallons or so in here. Put the feeder hose down there. We'll throw about 10 gallons in, and then we will make sure it works, doesn't leak. This part right here might leak. These go bad because they have a variable fitting on them, and I just buy a solid one from Lowe's. I don't know why they put a variable one on it. The same with this. It's got a washer with a variable fitting that can go bad. But they're, like I said, they're $5 or $6 to replace, so not bad. Go over here and see. I'm just going to circulate this water through here. We'll circulate the 10 gallons I pumped in there. I'll go back and make sure nothing leaks, but we shall see. All right, I've run that 10-ish gallons or so through. Let's go back and check. Look, let's see. You know, the good thing is water is pretty unforgiving, so no, my fingers are dry, so I think we're good on all that. Oil ran through that. Oil there, no leaks, no leaks. There we go. We're all set up for the rest of the season. All right, so all in all, little under 2 hours to take that completely apart, put a new engine and pump in it. Again, that's a Predator 212cc, and then a Maruyama MSD41 piston drive pump. Hopefully this was helpful, or at least informative to some people, but just part of the business. You know, I had to replace the other one in that truck not too long ago, so now we've got 2 new engines, 2 brand new engine spray pumps. I've got a third one sitting over here that I'm going to throw in my Colorado as well, because we're going to try and have 3 trucks going here pretty soon. So hope everyone has a good day.